regarding Yang Zhao's request, your gaze instantly turned cold. The surrounding air seemed to freeze. Your father did not follow the rules. That extreme made Jin Miting, standing aside, shiver uncontrollably in the gaze she fixed on you, besides fear. There was an added touch of morbid infatuation. According to the rules of the trade, a buyer must never reveal the contents of a transaction. But that man known as Lord Ghost, before, clearly told the secret to his son anyway. You couldn't help but sneer, back then, to exchange for the cursed doll. What Zheng Yazu traded away was his benevolence and morality. A person who has discarded even their morality, how could they truly care if their son lived or died? By leading Yang Zhao to the antique shop, it wasn't so much an intrusion as it was pushing him into an abyss. Truly heartless to a hair-raising degree. What do you looked down at Yang Zhao kneeling in the rain, with no pity in your eyes, only calculation. Yang Zhao clenched his fists tightly, the blood on his forehead washed away by the rain. I want to possess mysterious power. I want to be as unrestrained as my father. During this time, he had tasted enough betrayal and humiliation. He worshipped his father's absolute, thorough evil, because only the wicked can live freely, and live in a way that makes others fear. I will give you this chance. You turned around, carrying a chilling aura of slaughter. Talk to my assistant about the rest. You happen to need a hound to run errands for you in the underworld. A man like Yang Zhao, ruthless and fallen from grace. As long as you give him a single spark, he can set the entire sky ablaze. You walked straight toward the vintage car. Jin Miting froze for a second, then quickly left her contact information for Yang Zhao, subsequently jogging through the rain to hold a black umbrella over you. Back at the antique shop, you took Jin Miting to a guest room decorated in ancient style. This will be your room from now on. Tomorrow morning, after making breakfast, find the sister of that red-haired youth from tonight. Invite her to see me after Yang Yaozu is buried. Bring Yang Zhao over. And never, under any circumstances, go to the base. Explaining everything, you returned to the study alone. You wrote in your diary, today's harvest was good. Recovered one forbidden object. Identified 2 potential members for the Forbidden Society. You closed the notebook, watching the fine rain gradually subside outside the window. Going back to the owner said that if the number of rituals reaches the curse would deepen. You felt a trace of anxiety. No one can guarantee when these buyers might die if 2 people died at the same time. And the curse on yourself deepened. It might be difficult even to walk out of the Linhao antique shop. The next day, when you woke up, the dining cart already had breakfast prepared by Jin Miting. She had already set out ahead of time. If everything goes smoothly, the shop will welcome its second member tonight. You didn't touch the breakfast, but instead picked up the soul sealing jar and walked alone down the stairs leading to the dark depths. Today is the beginning of the day you must fulfill the contract and offer sacrifices to the basement statue. The moment you stepped into the basement, 365 bronze candlesticks lit up simultaneously, exuding a bone-chilling gloom. You finally saw the forbidden artifact that had utterly terrified the previous owner. It was a skeleton carved from white jade, wearing tattered black robes, holding a pitch-black box, sitting upon a golden throne. The white jade skeleton raised its head, its joints making a rusty, clicking sound. In an instant, a terrifying pressure, sufficient to kill a mortal instantly, swept through the room. The viscous air was almost suffocating. You frowned slightly and shouted coldly, "Quiet down." The previous owner had warned you to bow and... But in your eyes, this was nothing more than a tool. If you, the shopkeeper, were crushed, this statue could forget about ever receiving another soul. The pressure vanished abruptly, and the flickering green flames returned to a dead stillness. Those hollow eye sockets stared at the jar in your hand, exuding a hint of humble longing. You opened the jar, and milky white soul power surged out like mist, greedily inhaled into the bones by the white jade skeleton. This was 001, the Emperor. A serial number, starting with 0, and it was related to the gods. You suspected that these remains on the throne were once a true god. 10 minutes later, he lowered his head again and fell into a deep sleep. Meanwhile, at the Oasis Hospital in the South Sea Development Zone, the most top-tier private hospital in this land, Xia Li, the head of the $100 billion World Dream Group, this queen, who once stood high above, was now suffering from ALS and heart disease, confined to a wheelchair, where even speaking had become extremely difficult. President Xia, please sign. This is also the wish of the shareholders. The young lawyer stood before her, his tone no longer respectful. Instead, it carried a sickening tone. What? He handed over. Was a will transferring the group to Xia Qiming was Xia Li's most beloved younger brother, as well as a playboy who only knew how to squander the family fortune. And possessed absolutely no moral bottom line. Yeah? Don't be ungrateful. The lawyer leaned down and hissed coldly into her ear. Young Master Xia said, if only you he'll let you stay here and wait for death if you refuse to give in. To make you beg for life, and pray for is very easy for him. Anger and sorrow exploded within Xia Li's chest. She never imagined that the brother she had protected her whole life, that red-haired fool who only cared about racing cars and loafing around, would unexpectedly deal her a fatal blow at this moment. Get out. Exhausting all her strength from between her teeth, the lawyer let out a cold laugh, his sinister gaze sweeping across her pale face. as if he were looking at a piece of scrap commodity. Think it over slowly. I'll come to see you again tonight. The lawyer strolled out ostentatiously. The ward fell back into a deathly silence. Shia Lee closed her eyes in agony. She, who had never believed in gods, was now in her heart, frantically praying. Whether it be God or demon, as long as it could let her live, as long as it allowed her to tear those traitors apart with her own hands, she was willing to pay any price. Just then, the ward door was pushed open. In walked a nurse, even in an ordinary nurse's uniform. It was hard to hide the breathtaking charm radiating from her very core. You're not from this hospital? Shia Lee leaned back into her wheelchair warily, her gaze as sharp as a blade. Correct, Misia. Shia Lee's heart skipped a beat. This was the top-floor special care unit, tightly guarded. How did this woman sneak in so silently? Was she a professional assassin, or sent by that group of greedy shareholders to end her? Who exactly I come from the Forbidden Society. Jin Miting smiled, her tone carrying a fanaticism that came from the heart. Shia Lee was stunned. Forbidden Society. As a member of the elite standing at the top of the pyramid, she had heard of many mysterious organizations. The Yacht Club for the world's top billionaires. The Illuminati that groomed politicians. Even the Bilderberg Club that decided national policies. But the name Forbidden Society, she had never heard of it. What is your purpose in seeking me out? Shia Lee maintained her aura as best she could, trying to seize a lifeline. Jin Meiting sized up this former queen with interest. Her gaze like one looking at a struggling cicada. You are very lucky, because just last night, my master took notice of you. I'm afraid your master chose the wrong person. Shia Lee gave a self-deprecating smile, as you can see. I'm dying. I've also lost my power. I can't give you any returns. After hearing this, Jin Miting let out a charming giggle. Miss Shia, you still don't understand the situation. What my master enjoys watching most is the drama of a lowly ant gaining new life and tearing fate to shreds. You should be grateful for your tragic destiny. Otherwise, a mortal like wouldn't be worthy of hearing master's name in a lifetime, let alone seeing his true face. Breath caught in this woman's eyes. Her status as a queen with a $10 billion fortune was actually just that, unworthy of even hearing a name. How can I see him? Asked, as if possessed. Her intuition told her that this was her final chance to survive. Jin Miting glanced at the time. She didn't have time to display the inner power. Fearing she might directly scare Shia Lee's fragile heart into stopping, she pulled out a yellowed slip of paper and placed it on the hospital bed, her tone turning cold and arrogant. You have only this one chance tonight. Whether you can walk out of this cage depends on your own ability. With that, Jin Miting stood up and walked leisurely out of the ward. Shia Lee stared deathly at the address on that slip of paper. She had to go. Even if it were a dragon's pool or a tiger's den, it was better than waiting for death in this antiseptic-smelling prison of a room. But how? Shia Lee's eyes turned cold. Using all her strength, she grabbed a water glass and hurled it violently at the television screen. Smith, two elite security guards stationed at the door, rushed in. Shia Lee slumped in her wheelchair, gasping heavily for air. Tell lawyer Zhao, I will sign the contract. But my father left an important heirloom at the old residence. It's the secret key to open the overseas accounts. I must go and get it personally. Take me there now. If you don't agree, I won't put pen to paper, even if I die.